Scotland, are you okay?
Many in the courtroom saw this as pure disrespect.
Is your client still awake?
Welcome to another episode of J Inclusive. Please share, like, comment, subscribe, and set your notifications on so you are alerted every time I upload. The following video presents information sourced exclusively from news articles, court documents, and social media. I maintain no affiliations with any parties involved. Now let's get into today's true crime story. Detroit, Michigan, a city rich in African American history and culture, known as one of the most LGBTQ-friendly places in the state. But sometimes, even in the most welcoming of places, darkness lurks. Ashia Davis, 34, was a beacon of light to her friends and family. Known for her joyful spirit and devotion to her faith, she was also a loving dog mom to her Yorkie. Ashia frequently shared uplifting messages on her Facebook, one of which read, "I pray nothing but happiness, peace, and success to everyone on my timeline." A recent nursing school graduate, Ashia was ready to take on the world. Her brother, Alenti Martin, described her as caring and dedicated to helping others. But on a warm Friday night, June 2nd, 2023, her bright future was tragically cut short. Around 1:30 a.m., Detroit police responded to a call at the Woodward Inn in Highland Park. A man had noticed the door to a motel room left open. Curious, he approached and peered inside, discovering a woman's lifeless body. Emergency services arrived, but it was too late. Ashia was pronounced dead.
She was just getting a job, went to school. I just don't understand why this happened.
Fox 2 found Alana Anderson, who is also a member of the transgender community, right outside the hotel where Ashia's body was found. It's a hotel where many members of this community sometimes stay.
We've been knowing each other since we were since we were like younger, and we would have loved each other, and that was a good friend of mine.
Michigan State Police is leading the investigation after receiving a call from Highland Park Police about a deceased 34-year-old female.
We're not sure exactly what the cause was. We'll have to wait for the autopsy to come through.
Her death marked the 12th violent killing of a transgender or gender nonconforming person that year. Just days later, on June 6th, Michigan State Police released surveillance footage from the night of Ashia's murder. The video captured a man walking and running around the motel parking lot hours before Ashia's body was found.
As a homicide victim lays dead in this Highland Park motel, a man is caught on surveillance video running.
When we talk about the LGBT community's marginalization, trans women of color specifically experience the most violence.
Friends of the victim, Ashia Davis, a 34-year-old transgender woman, are speaking out in hopes that someone, anyone who knows something, will not remain silent.
Just asking the community to come forward. But I'm confident that somebody in the community is going to recognize whether the jacket, the pants, the distinguishing shoes, the way that he walks.
Michigan State Police released this video from the night of the homicide. It shows a possible suspect walking and running in the parking lot at the Woodward Inn. The suspect in the video is wearing what appears to be a blue hooded sweatshirt or jacket, black Adidas jogging pants, and black Nike shoes.
Clearly he was on foot, so it has to be somebody that wasn't too far or had somebody waiting for them.
It's not how members of the LGBTQ+ community thought they would be spending Pride Month, searching for the person who killed one of their own. But as this person remains on the run, advocates say everyone should be concerned.
No one should feel safe.
Despite this evidence, the case went cold. Nearly a year later, in March 2024, police arrested 17-year-old Carlos Lamar Scotland. He was charged as an adult with first-degree murder, felony firearm possession, carrying a concealed weapon, and obstructing an officer. As the trial unfolded, the public was stunned by Carlos' apparent lack of remorse. Footage from court proceedings showed him sleeping in the courtroom despite facing charges for such a heinous crime.
Today was the first day of testimony in the trial of a man accused of killing a transgender woman in Highland Park.
But the proceedings ended abruptly when the defendant fell asleep. CBS News Detroit's Andres Gutierrez joins us from 30th District Court with what exactly happened in that courtroom.
Well, before this morning's proceedings got underway, the defendant, Carlos Scotland, was talking to his attorney, mouthing something to someone in the gallery. But once the first witness took the stand, well, he couldn't stay awake.
Mrs. Scotland, are you okay?
Many in the courtroom saw this as pure disrespect.
Is your client still awake?
Carlos Scotland dozing off as the lead investigator recounted the inconsistencies during his interrogation of the 18-year-old charged with the June 2023 murder of Ashia Davis at the Woodward Inn.
Did the defendants ever suggest that there was some type of altercation in the room?
Yes.
And when you look at that picture, sir, is there anything that would suggest there was a struggle or altercation in that room?
Not at all.
MSP Detective James Plummer says Scotland eventually admitted to shooting Davis.
And could you tell us, what did he say as it relates to that, sir?
That he, after the victim swung at him, that he shot the victim in the face or neck area.
Okay. And are you familiar with the medical examiner's report in this case, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And was the victim shot in the face or the neck, sir?
No.
In fact, where was she actually shot?
In the back of the head.
Literally in the back of the head at close range, correct?
Yes.
Did he ever correct that part of it?
No.
Scotland initially claimed it was all done in self-defense after she allegedly attacked him with a knife.
He initially said that he had took the knife and discarded it in a field. He then recanted that and said that the victim swung at him with a closed right fist while possessing a phone in the victim's left hand.
Okay. And did he ever say where the knife was that he claims it was there?
He provided great detail initially, looking at a map as to where he discarded this knife before saying that there was no knife.
And just as the detective was getting into details about how Scotland and Davis ended up meeting that fateful night, Scotland's episode began. Eventually, his attorney told the judge another inmate allegedly slipped Scotland 3 pills before coming to court, causing the drowsiness and forcing the judge to adjourn for the day.
The defense always prolongs the thing. I don't know why they think it's in their best interest to prolong it or make it even longer when inevitably he was already found competent. So it's only a matter of time, but I'm very confident that Ashia Davis is going to receive the justice that she needs.
On January 10, 2025, a Michigan judge sentenced Carlos, now 19, to 17 to 30 years in prison for the murder of Ashia Davis. Prosecutors revealed that Ashia had been shot execution style in the back of her head. While police tied Carlos to the crime, they were unable to determine his exact motive.
Carlos Scotland, a confessed killer, walks into court for his sentencing. The 19-year-old pleaded guilty in November to killing 36-year-old Ashia Davis.
Her beautiful, infectious smile and bubbly personality was taken away from us on the first day of Pride. Only 2 people were in that room that night and will ever know the true events of what happened. What we will know is that Ashia Davis was shot execution style in the back of the head and left for dead.
Abad remembers racing to the scene when she found out a transgender woman had been killed, only to find out it was her friend.
The last memory that I have is seeing my friend on the floor outside of the hotel corner room with blood streaming all over the floor.
Months of investigation led to the arrest of Carlos Scotland, who was just 17 at the time of the crime. Abad says the stigma surrounding the transgender community leads to homelessness, unemployment, and too many people are forced to turn to sex work to make money.
The sad reality is, particularly in the Black and brown community, men that are enamored with trans women cannot be themselves and have to resort to loving us in private and killing us in public than have anybody know of their association with us.
Abad says Ashia Davis had hopes and dreams. She was studying to be a nurse, but Carlos Scotland took that all away, pleading guilty to second-degree murder, sentenced to 17 to 30 years behind bars.
He's being held accountable for the crime that he did, so for that I am grateful. I want my community to continue to be vigilant and come forward and report these crimes so that we can continue to get justice.
In the same year as Ashia's murder, at least 35 transgender and gender-expansive people, defined as those who do not conform to traditional gender roles, were killed in the United States. The majority were Black trans women whose lives remain disproportionately at risk. Ashia Davis's story is a painful reminder of the violence that trans women, especially those of color, face in a society still grappling with acceptance and equality. It's wonderful that Ashia received the justice she so deeply deserved, but it's heartbreaking that a motive was never determined. Understanding motives in cases like these is vital, not only for closure, but also for preventing similar tragedies by addressing the root causes. This knowledge could offer insights for the trans community to protect and advocate for themselves. Was this a crime of opportunity, given that Carlos had reportedly been lurking in the hotel parking lot for hours before the murder? How did their paths cross? Were Ashia and Carlos familiar with each other? If so, had they communicated beforehand? With no evidence suggesting Ashia was involved in sex work, why was she at that hotel? And what kind of upbringing or circumstances led Carlos to commit such a brutal crime at such a young age, devoid of any apparent remorse? These unanswered questions leave a painful void. Ashia was an incredible person with so much to offer: a supportive circle of family and friends, a promising career, beauty, intelligence, and a future she deserved to live. She should still be here today. While not assuming Asia felt this way, many trans women who pass as cisgen all find comfort in it, seeing it as a shield against transphobia. Yet with the ongoing epidemic of violence against Black trans women, often perpetrated by those closest to them, the ability to pass doesn't always translate to safety. Asia's life was a testament to resilience and strength, and her loss is a devastating reminder of the work that still needs to be done to protect and uplift trans women, especially Black trans women. Rest in peace, Ashia Davis, and as always, stay safe, be vigilant, and look out for one another.
Your edge out to some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now. Got me bummed out. You so